Hey, this is Jason Molesky. In this example, we'll take a look at how to find different types of samples. Student Council wants to conduct a survey during the first 5 minutes of an all-school assembly in the auditorium about the use of the school library. They would like to announce the results of the survey at the end of the assembly. The Student Council President asks your statistics class to help carry out the survey. There are 800 students present at the assembly. A map of the auditorium is shown here. Note that the students are seated by grade level and that the seats are numbered from 1 to 800. So in this diagram we can see that we have several rows in front of the stage with 9th grade students seated in seats 601 to 800, 10th grade students in seats 401 to 600, and so on. Each of these rows contains 20 students, and the rows run from 1 through 20, 21 through 40, and so on until we get up to 781 to 800. Now, describe how you'd use your calculator to select 80 students to complete the survey using each of the following methods: a simple random sample, a stratified random sample, and a cluster sample. Well, for a simple random sample, we need to choose 80 of the seat numbers at random, so we can use the randint feature on our calculator, randint 1, 800 as our command, to select 80 different seats. Recall that we need to ignore repeats, so we may have to do this several times in order to get all 80 of the seats. Next, describe how we'd use the calculator to select 80 students to complete the survey in a stratified random sampling method. Well, the students in the assembly are seated by grade level, as we saw, and since students' library use might be similar within grade levels but different across the grade levels, we'll use the grade level seating areas as our strata. So within each grade seating area, we'll select 20 seats at random. We'd like 80 students total. There are 4 different grades, so that's how we get our 20 for each of the grade levels. So to do this, we'll have to randomly select 20 9th grade students, 20 10th grade students, 20 11th grade students, and 20 12th grade students. Using the seat numbers, we can use randint 601, 800 to select 20 seats, and those would represent 9th graders. Randint 401, 600 would pick 20 sophomore seats. Randint 201, 400 would get our 20 junior seats. And randint 1, 200 could choose our 20 senior seats. Again, when we do this, we'll want to make sure we ignore any repeated values that come up. Then we'd give the survey to the students in the selected seats, get their results, and we could report them. Finally, let's take a look at a cluster sample. Well, with the way students are seated, each column of seats from the stage to the back of the auditorium could be used as a cluster. Note each cluster contains students from all 4 grade levels, so each cluster should represent the population well. Since there are 20 clusters total, we have 20 different columns within the auditorium, each with 40 seats, we would need to choose 2 clusters at random to get 80 students. So we could use randint 1, 20 to select 2 clusters and then give the survey to all 40 students in the column of seats. For some additional practice with stratified sampling and cluster sampling, try exercise 21.